We're gonna try to see. Okay, well, we got this is something that is now going to be live here for University of Football. I wonder who would end up into the national tournament. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes. Okay, here we go. Well, we're going to be live here in just a few minutes here, guys. In just a few minutes, we're going to be live. Yep, in just a few minutes, we're going to be live here. I need to find where football record is. Oh, I know. I don't need that, but I do need is these two. Let's see. But now this is going to be the right one. No, that's not the right one. Hold on. After I get the right one, then we can get this inside. And this one will be the right one. Here we go, guys. So 1, 2 there, and they lost 4. Man. And then that ends up being where they lose 2 and gains 4. 10, 11, 12, 13. So now I gotta try to sort this out over here. 9 plus 7 is going to be 16. And 16 will be a total of 5. So 5, 6, 3. And then 13 plus 4, which would be 17 there. 13 to 17. That's going to be a 7, 6, 5. 7, 6, 5. Yeah. Then, of course, I make sure that I do it is 2 there. And then I go with 21, 24, 27, 30. And for the other one, that would go is 27, 30, and then I go for 34. Okay, well, we're gonna get this live here in just a few minutes. Okay, this is gonna be like a pregame show type situation. It's gonna be a pregame, plus it's gonna be a national tournament review. For our summer announcement, this is going to be live and it's going to be on camera, so this is going to be a lot of fun here, folks. So stay tuned for this. It's the national tournament. I wonder who will be into the national tournament. Who do you think will be into the national tournament? Yeah, I wonder who's going to be into the national tournament. In a few minutes. This is going to be so exciting, folks. I can be so excited. Okay, so I need this to go in the column 5, and then it goes to column 6 with column 7, 8, 9. My goodness. Holy cow. I was not expecting that to be the case. Oh my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. Well, this team unfortunately is not gonna be in. Yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna have some fun with this, I guess, guys. We're gonna have us a lot of fun. We're gonna have is a lot of fun. I wonder who would be into the top six. I wonder who would be into the top six. Well, yeah, we are live here, but we're gonna start here in a few minutes for the summer announcement. But it's gonna be like a national tournament type situation. I'm kind of actually excited for it, but you'll know when we get this started at the 10-minute mark. 10-minute mark, we're gonna start this show at the 10-minute mark. So at the 10-minute mark, we're gonna start with this show, and it's gonna be really, really fun. So this is gonna be interesting. What do you guys think? Is this gonna be interesting? I wonder if it is. I think it would be very, very interesting to see how this will end up working out for these teams. But we'll be on in DreamNet. We'll be on in DreamNet for our show. So welcome to our summer announcement. We'll be starting here in about 60 seconds. You'll hear from our announcer here in just a few minutes, in just a few seconds. Welcome everybody to University Wiffle Ball summer announcement. Before we get started, please know a few things. Be respectful into the comments or into the chat below, and do not try to publish this without the consent. Even though that's not copyright for you to be, yeah, It might be. So do not copy or publish anything without consent of the commissioner. Now, also make sure that you do not spam into the chat, and make sure that you try to keep those bad words as low as possible. Do not direct it to anybody. And do not give any type of hate to anyone. Other than that, enjoy the show. Now, for our summer announcement, please welcome the Commissioner of UWB for University Wiffle Ball, Jack Fesquenza. Welcome, everybody. We're so glad to have you here today for our first ever summer announcement here for UWB. But exactly, what is UWB? That's a good question. UWB is a new way to play wiffle ball, but the actual name of the wiffle ball league is called University Wiffle Ball. It has been changed multiple times from Legacy Park Major League Wiffle Ball organization to University Wiffle Ball to now. You probably noticed as it being universal wiffle ball for the last year now, because it's been more directed to college students and high school students, which we probably might showcase this later and into the year, that we want to try to bring more accessibility and inclusivity to people and still bring a good amount of entertainment. It may not be non-stop entertainment, but we're looking to have is enough entertainment for anyone who wants to come. So that's what UWB is all about, and it was established in 2021. That's when it first started into the organization, but some people can end up arguing it, or feel we can argue it. It does have its roots all the way to 2019. When we had that big event of 70 plus people showed up for my birthday. Okay, so today is actually going to be a very special day here today, because why is that very special? Well, I wonder why today is super duper special. I wonder why today is super duper special. I don't know why it is today super duper special. Yeah, because it's the national championship. But before we get started with that, we actually won the spring championship series. Well, let's actually do us a little bit of recap for this postseason Road to America. The Road to America actually was a somewhat double elimination tournament that ended up having it to be where Savannah first ends up claiming the number one title, and you also have it where I believe Nashville, they ended up claiming the number two seed title. They ended up meeting against each other and later. Either way, they were going to meet with each other later into the postseason, but they would be getting the bye to the quarterfinal round, while the other teams, the Wolves and the Verdex, Kennesaw Wolves and the Verdex of Ruston, ends up claiming the last two qualifications, and the Wildfires, because they ended up winning most of the championship worthy sections by all 13, by all 12 judges, the 13th was just there for it, just in case it was a tie. No need for a tie. The judges were absolutely no. We want the wildfires. They showed out, and they showed out for the first couple of games. And my goodness, they probably got it because they got it in, and Dallas ends up getting in. Obviously, Dallas was the team that was like right at 0 with run difference. They were eliminated first. The Wildfires, they compete hard. They won their first game, but they end up losing the next game and then to the verdicts afterwards and to the super regionals. Unlike Dallas, where they ended up losing 20 games. Not 20 games. They ended up losing by 20 runs and 2 innings. And they're like, yeah, we already lost enough for our first game and 1 inning. So they're like, we're going to try to plan. We're going to try to come back for this fall. So they ended up just like letting it go potentially. But yeah, the commissioners are like, hey, if you lose the game and you end up letting it go, we're going to end up quitting it. We're going to end up slashing the game points by 2. So it's going to be half of the game points that you have. And you won't get any game points for that game either. Which is the unfortunate part for Dallas. But the Firefighters, they ended up playing very well. The Verdicts, they end up playing against the first, and they end up winning the first game. Nashville, the Cool Beats, ends up losing to the Wolves. So then you have is both of these two teams, the Wolves and the Verdicts, playing against each other for the first time. And my goodness, the Wolves end up claiming both of those first two out of the 2-game series over Ruston to get ourselves into the championship. And my goodness, onto the other side, the Furs of Savannah, and then of course you got is Nashville Cool Beats. Nashville comes away and wins the first game because of the rule of UWB is that once you have it to be a registry home games for the same team, it's an automatic transition for the other team to be away for that next game. So yeah, Nashville wins the first one. Next game, Savannah comes back and hits a base facility. Boom! And that goes over to the fence. It goes over to the fence. And there goes the ball. And that's going to be a grand slam. And they just tied up the series. They walked it off. So big grand slam. That ties up the series 1-1. It has to go into a 2-game in a condensed game to determine who will advance. Savannah is up by 3-1. Nashville comes back and they tie it 3-3. It goes to the bottom of the frame. First end up. This was at, I'm thinking this is at like the bottom of the second. And Nashville ends up losing to a walk-off hit by the Furs. I think it was by the first, or they might have actually sealed it into the top of the second. I can't remember. They probably might have won at the top of the second. But either way, the first, they end up advancing to the finals, which they won against the Wolves the first game of the season this year, where they end up going onto the road at Kansas to claim the number 1 spot. And still be undefeated. So I think the championship series worked out. But obviously, just like the last game, the first claimed 1-0 for both. So yeah, they claimed number one, and they walked it off for both of those. But then other than that, the Wolves come back and they end up being a very close game, 3, win it 5-4. 5-4. Are you kidding me? Game four. Game four. Game four. That was also kind of close. Had it to be where the Wolves were going to be home for the first time against that series since the last game of season 7 for the regular season. And my goodness, this is kind of nuts. But that was also kind of a close game. 4-3 was the final score. The Wolves end up winning. So now we got a tie game at 2 games per piece for both teams. And it has to come to game 5 where the Wolves are just like, get that big old hit. Get that big old hit. And they end up getting some mercy roll in 2 innings in game 5. I mean, seriously, how does that even happen where you end up losing the first 3 games? They're down by 1 run each, and then you come back, and that's 2. You win in very close fashion. But in game 5, there's probably like fatigue going on for the other team, and it was just like, let's just get them out of here. And they end up scoring 7 runs in 2 innings. It's just nuts. Technically, because of me playing against myself, it's basically 7 after 2 and then 11 after 1 compared to playing against my dad or against my friends, where it's going to be 9 after 2, 15 after 1. So that ends up happening, and the Wolves lead at 3-2. So exactly what happens for the last game of season 7. And this is pretty awesome because the Wolves, if we're going to try to do it, is game 4 and game 5 on the road. But this is exactly what happened at the beginning. Okay, do you want to be home for game 5 or do you want to be home for game 6? So they end up signing contract before game 5 ends up starting, and yes, the Wolves ended up being home for game 6 by being away for game 5. And because of the Wolves ended up having this 3 games to 2 games, this game was just absolutely nuts to the end. It was like a back and forth fest, but it was tied 5-5. I think the Wolves, they were down like 5-4. I think they were down like 6-4, 6-5, and they came back into the showdowns to win it. Showdowns to win it the entire day by hitting a couple of doubles. And this was the biggest milestone because we finally hit game 50. Game 50 is finally completed. So, yeah, game 50 finally completed. And this is super duper big. So I think we might need to have a little bit of celebration. Game 50 being completed. But I think you guys are pretty excited for what's to come. What do you guys think is to come here for our national championship? Our national championship, I'm going to give you in just a few minutes, and it's going to be something that is going to be wildly exciting because it's going to be the top 6 university football teams that play against the top 6 Georgia baseball teams here. And this is all simulation. There's no sponsors or any affiliations with this type of stuff. But this is going to be 12 different teams. But of course, we're going to start off with the university football side of things before we go over to what you know, Georgia. But we're gonna start out first. But there is one rule that I need to actually give out for those teams that know the academics and victories. They cannot be the top two teams. They can only be top three at best. They can only be top three at best. Only for this time. Okay, only for this time. It's probably going to change for next semester, for next summer, if we do this again. My guess, probably not. But this is the first ever national tournament. Of course, we're trying to go back to back to back, 3 titles in what, a year and a half? Are you kidding me? They ended up winning back to back titles. Because obviously, how did that happen? Well, because fall championship series did not happen last year due to medical reasons. Why? Oh my goodness. But we're gonna end up introducing these new tournament results. Okay, I'm gonna give you a minute or so, and we're gonna end up revealing these teams. Okay, so we need to get out the first two that's automatically eliminated from the B side. So the two that is eliminated, first but not least, is these are the team for the University of Football National Tournament. These are the first two that are currently out. Let's introduce all 10 teams to you guys. Okay, let's introduce all 10 teams to you guys. Okay, so the Wolves family is that we got Cancel Mountain Wolves. We got is the Ackworth Scriptures. We got is the Savannah Furs. We got is the Birmingham Prowlers. Let's go down south to Jacksonville Rivals. Let's go up to the East Coast to Greenfield Wildfires. And let's go over to their cousin Raleigh Navigators. And then we go towards the west to Nashville Coolbeats. We come back down to Ruston Verdex, and we go over to Dallas for the Reindeers. Now, the two teams that are eliminated, the first two that are out, would be the Birmingham Prowlers and the Jacksonville Rivals. So those two are the first two out for the University Football National Tournament. Now, who is going to be the next teams? Well, obviously, we need to figure out who's going to be the two teams that's going to be the number 1 seed and then the number 2 seed team. The number 1 seed team for the UWB side will be the Kennesaw Mountain Wolves. So they're the number 1 seed team, and the number 2 seed team would be the Ruston Verdicts. Okay, so the Ruston Verdicts, this is pretty interesting here, guys. But we need to introduce who's going to be 4, 5, and 6. Who's going to be 5 and 6? Who's going 5 and 6 is going to be the question. Well, Number 6 will go to the Academics of Kentworth. They just slide in there. But you know what? We gotta announce that victory is getting in there for number 3. So they're slide in as number 3 overall. So now we introduce all of these teams here. But who's going to be 4 and 5? And who is going to be eliminated? This is a question. Let's go for our next 2 teams that are eliminated. Dallas Rangers and the Aqua Scriptures. So now we are down to only 4 teams remaining here. I believe only 4 teams is remaining here. Let me just make sure that's only 4 teams that's remaining. We got Nashville Cool Beats, the Greenfield Wildfires, the Savannah First, and the Raleigh Navigators. Well, for seed number 5, will go to the Raleigh Navigators. And for seed 4, the 3 teams remain. We'll go to Otter. For our last spot into the national tournament, we'll go to, drumroll please, the Savannah First, and they will be the last team to enter into the national tournament for UWB. Now, who's going to be into the top 6 for Georgia? And there is going to be absolutely no eliminations here. Yeah, there's going to be absolutely no eliminations here. Well, maybe we can get rid of 1. Where's the 1 team that we can get rid of for the Georgia teams? Yes, University of West Georgia, they're eliminated. So they're not going to be in there. Okay. But who is going to be the other 7 teams that will get in? We know that obviously we got 1 high school team and then we got 7 college teams here. I'm really not sponsored by any of them. This is just for simulation and just for complete chaos is my guess. So obviously we know UWG is going to be out. But it is going to be the team that's going to be first. So obviously we know that into the other section, we know that Nashville, Cool Beats, and then the Wildfires, they were eliminated. Yeah, because Cool Beats and the Wildfires, they were eliminated. But you know what? I'm going to actually eliminate this next team here. So this way that you guys can tell who is going to be the teams that's going to be entering to the national tournament. Who's going to be the next team that's going to be eliminated? Because in the rest would be in. Who's going to be the next one that is going to be into the playoffs, into the tournament? And the next one that would be eliminated for Georgia would be Georgia State. So the Wolves and Panthers, they're out. They're not going to join into the national tournament. But who's going to end up being the number 1 seed team all the way to the number 6 seed team? Well, I'm going to actually announce it in the order from number 1 all the way to number 6. And this is how this ends up going. The number 1 seed team goes to to the Georgia Bulldogs. And the number 2 seed team goes to, let them sting. It's the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. And then our high school, the Stampedes, a local high school of here, the Stampedes. It's similar to a stampede of an animal, but what type of animal is that? The Mustangs of Kennesaw Mountain High School. They will be the number 3 seed team. And of course, I think it's probably just fair that we end up just announcing something here that you guys probably might see a tease for a bit later to come out. But yeah, it's big, it has sharp claws, and it's a college. We're going back to a college. Mercer Bears, they're going to be the 4 seed team. And we're going to the Ka as the Soaring Eagle of Georgia Southern is going to be number 5 seed team. And why not? We got to have us a little bit of a bird matchup. Why not? We could have us a bird matchup here, folks, in the third round of this national tournament, where the Kansas State Owls just figure out how to put the Towns inside this tournament. So yeah. So those are the 6 teams for the Georgia side of things. But how does the structure end up working out here? Well, the structure is actually pretty simple because seed 6 to 5 alternating will play against each other. The 5 seed teams will be home. They play against the number 6 team. And the teams that end up advancing goes to the number 4 seed team. Whoever was basically, I believe whoever was basically away for the number 6 would be the same division for the number 4. They would play against each other, and then from there, whoever ends up winning goes to the third round, and the third round is special because both teams will advance. Yay! The loser of the third round will end up going to the Georgia side of things. Boo! A lot more complicated, while then the winner will play against the football side of things. While then 3 and 2 will play against each other. They're going to be playing it really cross rivals from each other. And then they'll also meet with each other for the winner and loser of the third round or the fourth round. And then the fifth round would be number 1 seed teams. And you got the fully championship team. And this is just going to be absolutely chaotic for football. But stay tuned. We got is a big announcement coming your way in probably about a few weeks here. But just make sure that you keep your eyes on peel. But there is something that I want to actually tell you right now, as we're gonna announce the actual first few sessions of season 8 this fall. So season 8 this fall is going to be really, really interesting. This is the last thing that we're going to be talking about. This is the last thing. Because we're going on with about 40 minutes, about 30 minutes. And my goodness, this is absolutely nuts. Okay, so now just as a little bit of a thing here, I'll post that on the Twitter for the preview of the season 8. The full schedule will release in a couple of weeks. But that's it. Just make sure that you stay tuned on the YouTube, on the Twitter, on the Facebook, on the Instagram, right? Even YouTube here. I think maybe I said YouTube twice, but just make sure that you stay in touch for every single social media platform like YouTube, YouTube, and also Twitter/X, Facebook, Instagram. Because we're gonna post it out and we're gonna try to end up spreading the word as much as we can for these upcoming seasons. But just remember, FanFest would be sometime in June. I guess it would be here in June, and when Banana Ball has their big day, a double header. Coming out Saturday, where the firefighters will be at Virginia as they would take against the tailgaters, and the party animals will be playing against the bananas once again. I mean, this is going to be pretty awesome. But just remember, this is not affiliated or sponsored by anything. But other than that, thank you for watching. Just leave the like and subscribe. We'll see you next time here in a few minutes. But let's get yourself to the break game show for the Wiffle Ball. And what is going to be the first team? What is going to be the first game here for today? Well, it's going to be number 6, Georgia versus number 5, UWB. This is going to be pretty awesome. Let's get down to our pregame here. Well, welcome to our pregame show. You know what? I gotta get the bat. I gotta put the bat for the pregame show. Well, I got the pregame show right over here. Today is going to be our first national tournament day, and we got a seed 6 and seed 5 for UWB. Well, this will be seed 6 for. Okay, we're gonna take the dog out so that we can do this national tournament interview here. Okay, so the national tournament is going to be seed 6 for UWB versus seed. Okay, it's seed 6 for Georgia, and seed 6 for Georgia, seed 5 for UWB here, folks. Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm gonna just make sure that I check with the standings just to make sure. Yeah, it's gonna be seed 6 Georgia, seed 5 UWB, and who is going to be those two teams? Oh my goodness, this is so confusing sometimes. But you know what? I'm gonna end up trying to find out what these teams are. Seed 5 looks like it's the Verdex. And it looks like that they will be playing against 6 Kansas State. Oh my goodness, this is going to be such a fun one here. It's going to be the Owls versus the Verdex. This is going to be a fun game. Yeah, you can actually come down here. We're doing some player interviews.
Right, we gotta get going.
We're going to do some player interviews and then it's time.
You can do it in the car. Right?
Okay, so we're gonna end up talking to the owls for a quick minute, and we're gonna do the verdicts for a quick minute here. So the owls, they're gonna be here at international tournament. How do you feel about yourself? Well, we feel about pretty good for ourselves. Well, then good. Go and get them. Now, let's try to interfere with the verdicts. So, Bobs, how do you feel about yourself for today's game? Well, I think he's a little bit distracted right now, but uh, the Owls are ready to play ball for this first ever national tournament game. The winners end up advancing to number 4 seed team, which I believe would be Georgia. I have to check this, just make sure. Yes, they would be playing against number 4 Georgia, which that would be number 4 Georgia. Let's see, who would that necessarily be? Uh, that be against Mercer. Mercer Bears is the team that is waiting for the Owls and Vertex. Let's go to Dan Fest Windsor for the play interview for today's game.
Okay, well, we're gonna be late, so we do need to get going.
I better just ask this one
What do you
question.
need to know, Pops? I'm asking a question, I'm answering a question.
I can answer a question.
Yes.
How do you feel about today's game with the Vertex as they're playing against the Owls for this national tournament?
We're excited to be playing in the tournament, no doubt about it. We're feeling a little rusty, though. It's been some time since we've been on the field, and we're excited to get down there. Champions Field. We'll see you all down there.
Well, technically, it's Champion Stadium is the actual field. But now for our pregame interviews, we're gonna have the national anthem at the field pretty soon. So stay tuned, everybody.